Masculinity. What is masculinity? A masculine man faces adversity, challenges, risk, danger. He knows that when there's a possibility that his life may end, that he is fully alive in those moments. It's only when you know that death may be right around the corner, or danger, or bodily injury, that you feel most alive. And when a man shrinks away from these things, he withers and dies inside. Why do you think people take risks in sporting events, in such things as mountain climbing, ski jumping, bungee jumping, auto racing, boxing, MMA, UFC? Why do men do this? Because that is when they feel most alive. When they know there's a possibility of death, of being hurt badly. Now, do they want to be hurt badly? Are they narcissistic about themselves? No. It's just that a man, without risk or danger confronting him, does not enjoy the fullness of life. Let me tell you a short story, something that happened to me the other day, or happened to myself and my sons. I have a home here in Troy, Missouri. I have another one in Hannibal, Missouri. 3 of my sons went up there to work on it the other day. And when we got there, I noticed the screen was messed up on the 2nd floor. I didn't think too much about it. I just thought it was odd. Didn't leave it like that, I didn't think. So I walked back behind the house to get the key, where I had it hidden under some rocks. And there's these giant rock walls behind my house that were built back in the 1800s. And some of these boulders had fallen out. I thought, well, that's even more strange. And it landed on where the key was, so it was a pile of dirt and several big boulders. I couldn't find the key. I thought, well, crap, I wonder if I have a key in the van. So when I started to walk back to the van, I looked up on the side of the building, and I noticed another screen was out. And I thought, I bet somebody's inside there, or they have been in there. So I climbed up the scaffolding to the 2nd floor, and I looked in the window, and I saw a cell phone laying on the floor in the hallway. So I thought, somebody's in here. So I told the boys, I said, come on up here. And they came. Didn't ask any questions. Didn't say they were afraid. Didn't say call the police. And I'm not saying calling the police is a bad idea. Maybe that would have been the wise thing to do. But I grew up in a time when you handled things yourself. You do not call the police unless it's an absolute necessity. So I started to go through the window after I took the screen out, and I said, I'm coming in here. Whoever's in here, I'm coming. I didn't hear any reply. And I had told the boys to come with me, so they climbed up the scaffold there. They came in the window after me. I picked up a crowbar, kind of a pry bar for a weapon. I wasn't sure what I was going to run into or what I was going to encounter, but I knew, or I thought at the very least I would encounter someone who was afraid because they were caught breaking and entering in my house. And one of the boys grabbed a shovel, and then the other one grabbed something, so they followed me in. So I led them through the house. We looked in the first room. I didn't see anybody. I looked to the left, nobody there in that room. And I came to the bedroom, and sure enough, there was a guy laying on the bed. He was sleeping. He was only in a pair of sweatpants, man about 30 years old, probably 150 pounds, in pretty good shape. So we surrounded him on the bed, and I woke him up. And he was surprised, to say the least. But a long story short, I asked him several questions: what his name was, where he was from, what he was doing. His girlfriend had kicked him out of the place he lived in, or it was her house, I'm not sure. So he had no place to go. Wasn't, as I said, wasn't wearing any shoes or shirt, and so he climbed up, went in my house, and went to sleep. So no harm was done. He didn't break anything, and he didn't steal anything. He was very respectful the way he spoke to me. So I just let him outside and sent him on his way, because that could be me. I've been in situations where I've gotten in a fight with my ex-wives or girlfriends. Not a physical fight, but a disagreement. And they either call the police or they tell you to leave. And if you don't leave, they will call the police. And the police come, at least in my state, they have to take someone to jail. And 9 times out of 10, it's the man, regardless of whether you've done anything wrong or not. So I realized that it wasn't me, but it could be me. But the point of the story is this. Sure, I could have called the police. Maybe that would have been the safer thing to do. But when I was walking in that house not knowing what I was going to encounter, and I was pretty sure that someone was going to be afraid and maybe violent, and I also had a sword in there. In the room he was in, I had a Roman battle sword. So I wasn't sure if he'd have that, or if he'd have a gun, or if he'd have anything, or if it was one person or more than one person. But in those moments, that's when a man feels most alive. And as I said earlier, that's why people bungee jump, they get in the ring and they box, they do UFC, MMA, they fight, they race in automobiles, auto racing, the Le Mans, drag racing, different kinds of sports where you could lose your life. Because as a man, we need risks. People don't realize how comfort and pleasures depress a man. They actually ruin men. And in our society here in the West, you actually have to go out and seek discomfort. You have to seek things that are difficult, things that are dangerous. Now, I'm not saying to go out and do anything ridiculously stupid or to take unnecessary risks, although someone might say that was an unnecessary risk that we took. Another point I want to make about that is my boys did not question, they followed me in there. That day, they acted as men. We had a problem, we had a situation in our home, and we dealt with it without having to call the police, without having to cause any problems. I found this guy's bag too, and I found out he was in some trouble with the law. So maybe me giving him a break, maybe it'll help him out, maybe not. But don't we all need a break once in a while? Don't we all put ourselves in positions of, you could say, stupidity or danger? We all make mistakes. Every problem that we have in life is created by ourselves. Although it seems to come from out there, it comes from within. So I've had a lot of breaks in my life. People have cut me some slack. So I pass that on. So when these challenges come up, don't be so quick to get somebody to help you. Unless, of course, it's necessary that you have help. Face challenges as a man. Face dangers as a man. Take risks. Do things that make you feel alive. Some of the Vietnam veterans during the Vietnam War, said they felt more alive than ever when they were in country. When a man knows that his life may end in any moment, that is when you feel more alive, when you're closest to death. Something to remember. That's all I have time for today. I want you to contemplate that and think about that. Seek some discomfort in your life. I haven't turned the air conditioner on here on my second floor home here in Troy. It's extremely hot, but I purposely want to be uncomfortable. There's a reason for that. That's it. Take care. Share this with a friend if you think it will be valuable to them. Thanks for joining me.